Okay, I'm recording this video for a second time. Probably going to put this on YouTube unlisted, but I hope people like watch this. I'll be posting it on Twitter. I just want to talk about something that's going on in UK Melee Netplay. If you guys weren't aware, Ryzon hosted what will be his last Netplay tournament, or what was, sorry, his last Netplay tournament. Long Live Netplay 121, which if you think about it, 121 tournaments, that's a pretty crazy number. Um, just to let everyone know that as of next week, I will no longer be running his tournaments. This is because of all the hassle I've been getting from Icon and Tanky over the last month or so. It's showing no signs of stopping, and I really don't want to deal with it every week. So somebody will need to fill in and run these from next Monday. Um, Pretty much no one is getting involved here. Like for the most part, it just kind of seems like everyone's okay with Ryzen not running the tournaments and getting annoyed by Tanky and Icon. And I just want to put my 2 cents in and say I think it's bullshit. I think Ryzen's a really decent guy. I think he's hosted these. You know, when the Netplay tournament started during Corona, I wasn't that optimistic. I didn't honestly think I'd enter that much because I find it quite hard to get invested in Netplay, especially if there's stuff like connection issues and things like that. But you know, with the absence of real tournaments, it's actually become like a huge pillar for me to be able to like track my improvement and try and make the most out of a bad situation. And I think that Ryzen honestly did a pretty good job for the most part. Like, I think it's a hard job to TO a tournament, especially if you're entering all these tournaments yourself. You know, what if there's a situation where you're salty and then you're having to get in the middle of these disputes and the disputes get a bit heated and you're thinking about your own bracket and you're like, oh god, like, I'm trying to improve, I want to focus on my next match, but I've got to focus about getting in between these two people. And when you have two people like Tanky and Icon who are purposefully instigating, purposely being confrontational and dogmatic, like Icon tries to be like more open to reason, I guess, for the most part, but like I still feel like he is incredibly dogmatic with the way he handles his responses to people, and I feel like didn't treat Ryzen fairly at all when Ryzen was like mostly trying to sit on the fence. Ryzen didn't want to completely bow down and give in to Icon because Icon was saying, "Oh, you DQ'd me from one of the more recent tournaments for unfair reasons. I was 10 minutes late or something like that. I was 10 minutes away, and you didn't give me a reason." But like, although I wasn't there, considering the amount of backchat Icon gives on a regular basis, I can imagine the tone he took and the approach he took was not one to be cordial. And also considering like previous issues people have with him, it's kind of understandable that like he would be considered. Now, not to mention that he was actually allowed in this tournament so long as he didn't troll. He just said, all Ryzen said is, "Can you not troll?" And then Icon was like, "No, you have to admit that you wrongfully DQ'd me. Are you going to stop wrongfully DQing me? Blah 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 blah." And it's like, just prove your worth. Like, you're obviously trying to like get blood out of a stone. You're trying to get an argument where there doesn't want to be one. We just play in the tournament, play the normal way. And he kept pushing the situation. I don't want to really get started on Tanky. Everyone knows Tanky is online basically a bitch. Is the words I would use. I've got no respect for the guy online whatsoever. To be honest, both of these two people are two people that, like, in my eyes, when they're in real life, they're like some of the least confrontational people. At least from what I've heard, I haven't met Tanky in person, but Icon especially, like, Icon's the sort of guy you walk up to him, and if you start shit with him, he'd go like, what do you mean? Like, I'm alright. Like, that sort of thing. That's his fucking approach. He's not confrontational. He's not argumentative. But then, for some reason, when these two are online, they get out this, like, online persona that tries to be, like cool, and they find their second self in Smash. You know, finding your second self in Smash is meant to be a cool thing. It's meant to be, like, you find more confidence, and you're more, like, competitive and you're more interesting. But these two people, they just see it as an avenue to shit talk. And I hear a lot of, stuff about like, oh well, it's Netplay, you guys shouldn't be taking this seriously anymore anyway. And it's like, well, this is like lockdown. There aren't many avenues for us to like pursue competitive interest. Like, that's all fair and good if there's a bunch of tournaments going on and we're traveling and all this stuff, but right now, like, this is the best we've got, and I think Ryzen's done a like bloody good job considering like everything that's going on, and all the stress that like people are personally facing and the lack of motivation. Like, he's hosted this consistently. It's been really enjoyable for a lot of people. It's gotten a lot of entrants a lot of times. And to me, like, two little shitheads ruining it and everyone just being okay. Like, I look at the chat, like, no one's even reacting to this. No one's sticking up for Ryzen. Like, me, Sylveon, and like a very few select. I can't really remember anyone else who stood up for him when he's like been around in the online community for ages. And then Icon hosts his own tournament at the exact same time, 8 p.m., the All Right tournament, just to compete with it, just to take entrance away. It's like literally a little baby throwing his toys out the pram. And to be honest, it's like beyond cringeworthy. I'm not just going to sit here and pretend that I don't find it cringe. I find it extremely, extremely lame. And to be honest, ever since Icon and Tanky have become friends, they've just like they seem set on like being toxic. I've had situations where like I was playing Dennis the Menace fan, who was like someone who was sandbagging on a second account, and he was extremely laggy, and I had a dispute and I wanted to get it sorted. I wanted to get him DQ'd, and then Tanky comes in and starts saying, "Oh yeah, Modest was lagging earlier, by the way. Modest should definitely be DQ'd, right?" And in his head, it's funny troll. It's only online. I don't know about you guys, right? If someone's a dick online, um, I want to hold them accountable, like, as a person. I don't just say, he's just a dick online. I don't really sweep that shit under the rug, mate. If you're a dick in general, if anything, it's worse if you're a dick anonymously, because it shows that you're not confident enough to be a dick in real life. But when you've got this little chance to be a little keyboard warrior going, I'm tanky, like that, he loves it. He fucking feeds off of it. And it's cringe. And I feel sorry for Ryzen. I feel bad that the community didn't, like, just have a little step up and say, nah, you know, look how many people are entering these tournaments week in, week out. There's so many consistent players, and people are just okay with the fact that, like, Tanky and Icon had a little bitch fit and fucking made their own tournament and made Ryzen feel like shit. Like, I'm not okay with that. I think it's a really bad thing, and I think the community should be, like, striving to do better, to be honest. You know, I know that, like, so many people's knee-jerk reaction is going to be, oh, Modest Major's, like, making a mountain out of molehill, it's net play, who really cares, someone else can just host it. But to me, it's, like, the principle of the fact that, like, Ryzen stepped up in lockdown, he was doing a fine job of it. I would have really preferred having him host more tournaments. And to be honest, I just think everyone in the, like, everyone who was a clear supporter, a big supporter, like, there's a, you know, I understand some people just entered it for money, and that's, you know, whatever, what you're going to say. But people who are just an alright, clear supporter of that sort of attitude, people like Brownie, people like Tanky, Icon, I don't know who else, I just think they're bitches. I think, like, straight up, they are cringe, and I think we should aim to do better. I don't think they should be like, I personally, like, if I was hosting the next netplay tournaments, I would certainly be trying to ban them from anything, because I just think they're not taking anything, like, seriously at all, and I think it sucks because this is an online getaway for a lot of people. Like, for me, like, it's like I don't want to be sitting around bored in the house. It's awesome to feel like I'm part of this, like, fucking active social community. It's like the most socialization I'm getting, like, by far and away. So it's sick for that, and, like, to have these little shits just being childish because they're so, like, I don't know, like, keyboard warriors, it's cringe. So anyway, I've been Modest Major. That's my 2 cents on the situation. Peace out.